Hello, farmers, and welcome back to New Hope for the last time for me, anyways. We're sitting inside our pelletizing hall, and we're watching some straw pellets being packed on up. It is raining outside, so that's going to stall our harvest a little bit. I think we'll be trying something new for me today, anyways, for harvesting, but we're going to have to wait for the rain to stop before we get involved in that. But this is going to be our last day here on New Hope before we move on. We'll be moving to the Highland DLC map, Kingley, which comes out in about 10 more days or so. But yeah, I really don't have anything else to do here in New Hope, so I figure we come back, kind of wrap up the series and kind of maybe try out maybe a couple more things. Hopefully everyone's having a good Saturday so far. Hello, Unknown, John, or Uncle John, Miles, Panther Killer, and Bob, welcome. Hope you guys are having a good start to your weekend. But yeah, our last day here in New Hope. Just going to be trying out a few more things. I don't think I have a loan here, right? We paid off all of our loans that we've been taking out and trying some things. Yeah, looks like we're all set here. Yeah, we got plenty of straw here. I can't remember if this straw, this trailer, is stuff I spawned in because we were just trying some things out. But yeah, I think it's fine. We're not really too concerned about if I get a little extra cash or not. There's our Primos, which we're not going to. I think I got some. Let me teleport over to our harvester. Yes, we got a little bit more harvesting to do. But obviously in the rain, we don't want to do that. And we got plenty of straw out here. But, yeah, I think even if we do the Primos and getting straw pellets, it's considering it harvesting, picking up straw, and making it into straw pellets. So I actually lose yield on that, which is kind of interesting. But what we are going to try today, at least I have not tried yet, the Next Act Pact, which came out, I don't know, not long after FS25 came out, but I did not get involved with it because it just seemed rather expensive for the working with. But I figured we'd give it a try today. And since it's raining, we don't have nothing else to do, let's go ahead and we're not going to buy this stuff. We're just going to go ahead and lease it. Can I put BKTs on there? We can. So it's brand new, $655,000 just for a quote-unquote tractor. But we're going to lease it for $33,000, but who cares? I got the cash. There is a drill, but we don't want a drill. We want the harvester. So is there any combinations I can do with this? BKT tires. So wait, I can get BKT tires on the tractor, but not on the harvester? Whatever. This is $318,000. What's the working width of this thing, anyways? Does it say? That's $16,000 at least. What's the working width of that? So it doesn't tell you the working width. Interesting. All right, let's get on down to the store, which is somewhere here. There we are. Oh. Half of the tractor is still inside the shop. Is this going to be a problem? Houston, we got a problem. Alright, I might not be able to use this at all if this is the way it's going to spawn. Can I... I'm trying to use super strength and yank it out of there. I might not be able to use this at all. Alright, how about if I mean, I don't think this is going to work, but I'm going to try this. We're going to try to reload and reset. No, that's not going to work either. I mean, it's just because this is going to reset it right back to where this is. Let me try the game reset. Okay. Make sure I click on the right one here. Reset. Ah, put it over here. Okay, so that will work. Now, I did test this out when it came out, but it's been such a long time. There is a way to do this. Enable work mode, which I think is what I got to do. Oh wait, I'm actually close enough to attach to it now? Oh, okay, so we'll just attach to it now then. Why won't it let me attach? Alright, I'll drive. Maybe I do have to drive closer. Showing me all the lines. Alright, I gotta unfold it. So wait, I can't be in working mode when I attach to it? So it was unfolded. Because now I can't drive the way I needed to. Well, I'm glad it's raining. It gives me time to attach to this thing. I remember it being very difficult when it came out, when I was testing it out, to attach to it. There we go. Alright. This is a weird machine. I think this came out last spring. And I just didn't see the benefits from it because for what you're paying for it, you can get other harvesters a little bit cheaper. But hello, Rob. Hello, Smoke and Joe. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday so far. Yeah, put this on here and do hope for our last day, just to fool around a little bit more and just kind of wrap up the series. Series was all about running a horse farm. We got lucky the day I was starting the stream on New Hope, had it all set up. A mod came out that we can increase the value of the horses, and that paid off, pun intended, rather well, because the horses did seem to actually profit us some money. We did build some houses over there, constructible houses. We ended up building 4 of them. And in the meantime, we were slowly expanding. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this type machine, and I figured, I don't know if I'll ever use it anywhere, really. So I figured, let's go ahead and just use it today. We got some harvesting to do. I don't think I'll be selling much of anything unless I want to buy something. But I do got 322,000. But I'm not taking out a loan. I'm not leaving here with a loan. That's for darn sure. Saturday's been okay for the whole 2 hours. Okay, you've been awake, relaxing before work, but Saturday all you want to do is play Outer Worlds 2. I was actually looking at that game yesterday? Last night, I think it was. Looks rather interesting. Don't know when the rain's supposed to stop. I did not look at that when I logged back in. I don't remember when I was here. I think we were here on Monday. So I don't know exactly when the rain's going to stop. I do got some straw bales. I could make some more straw pellets out of them, but not too sure if I want to. But if it keeps on raining, then I'll have to do something. Got a bit of time after work and the Jays game last night until your PC blue screen. Ah, the famous blue screen. Updated your BIOS, hoping that will fix the issue. Both times I was running into blue screen issues, it's been a RAM issue. Now let's go ahead and unfold this. So what side is the front? No, can we stay unfolded, please? Oh, I don't have I didn't buy the flipping header for it. Where is that going to be? Is there a special header for it? I can't remember. Or can I just use any header? That's a MacDon header. I think we will grab one of our headers. Smoking Joe, sometimes it's not... I'm not saying you don't have enough RAM. If one of the RAM disks have failed, that will cause you a lot of blue screen problems. Especially if you keep getting a lot of different codes on the blue screen. Yeah, we'll just use the Deutz here. And also, let me go ahead and activate my water tanker as well. In case I want to sell some of this veggie stuff and bring some money in. Oh, I have no water. Alright, we'll go get water first. See, I don't know if we're going to get all the harvesting done. I'm just on here to fool around a little bit today, and that's pretty much it, and just kind of wrap it up. But I was thinking I got to do at least one more stream on here to officially wrap up the series, and that's what I thought. I'm like, what could I do? And it's like, the Nexac pack. I have not really used it. Oh, I didn't want to detach from it. Hitting all the wrong buttons. Yes, Scarly, this is the last live stream on the New Hope map. So next time I live stream Farm Sim will be on Kingley on the Highland expansion. Never did a BIOS update before. It's pretty easy to do BIOS. Well, it's one of those things. It's easy when you know how to do one. But if you've never done one before, yeah, it can be a little tricky, I guess. But if that doesn't fix your issue and you keep having a blue screen issue, it could be one of your RAMs that have failed. That's usually where I start off with that kind of a problem. There's no more space there. All right, we'll grab this header. Yeah, I forgot about all about our little AgroStar. I'll drop that off. Into here. Is that not going to attach to that header? Or am I not lined up quite enough? So it doesn't like that particular header. All right, let me see. If I go to here and I do combinations. So it's got to be, I guess, this header here. So you just can't use any universal header on there. Apparently. Well, I'll lease that too, I guess. Man, that sucks. Let me attach to that. Now I just got to get out of here. Get out of the way. I'm going to destroy some crop, but that's whatever. Well, that's a bummer. I mean, I don't want to say it's a universal header, but this header usually fits on any of the combines, but I guess it's going to be very particular on which ones it wants to use. Alright, let's grab our truck, and we'll have to go down and lift it up on here. We'll bring it up, because I don't want to get a header trailer for it. And since I'm going down, I will sell some of our stuff here. Just because... So enjoy the straw pellets and also the Nexac pack, because it's probably the only time I'll be using it. So it must be I haven't sold anything from the veggie production in a while. Round and round we go. Yeah, so after today, I'm not sure when the next stream will be. I think it's the 4th of November for the Nexac pack. Not Nexac pack. The Highland expansion pack. I think November 4th is when it's scheduled to come out. Yeah, I just couldn't see myself trying to do another season here where I just... I didn't feel like I wanted to do anything else on this map. I didn't feel like expanding or making other new fields or anything like that. So probably I'll be streaming next week a lot of some more demo games. I did like Hillshade Farm I was doing yesterday, other than having to exit out of the demo and going back in a couple times. The game does show a lot of promise if we can get the bugs fixed, and it adds everything that we can see there. It does look rather interesting. Didn't really get a whole bunch of money for that load there. That seemed kind of low. Under 160,000 for a full trailer load. That's actually a pretty big header. Or it looks big anyways. I didn't see what size that was. Combinations. Alright, it's a 15.2. And the ones I currently have are what? 19.2. Okay. So it says MacDon. So where... never mind. I was trying to see something else, but... doesn't matter. It'll be the only time I use it, so... I will strap in the header. So if I'm using the MacDon header, I don't think it's going to give me the bonus. I think if to get the bonus like we were on Riverbend Springs, I have to put the crop into a swath and use it that way, and that's not what we're doing. So it's one of these pieces of machinery where you got to spend a lot of money. I mean, you would have to with a regular combine also. But I think a full-size combine is going to be cheaper than this setup here. Oh yeah, with the truck, don't drive into a field. That just causes more issues. Thank you, Super Strength, for doing this, because this would be rather hard to set up otherwise. Somewhere in that general vicinity. There we go. Now the header's attached. I just kind of get it set up here. When is this rain gonna stop? Usually we don't have too much trouble with rain. Somewhere between 16 and 1800. Alright, so it should stop raining sometime soon. Meanwhile, my pelletizer... I'll come over here and just make sure that's still running. Not that it matters too much, honestly. Just throw this somewhere over here. There we go, that's back up and running. Yeah, let's go ahead and speed up some time here until the rain stops. And see if we can get a little bit of harvesting done here in the month of July. Alright, says it stopped raining, but it's still raining. There we go. Now it's done. Alright, let's get back into our harvester. Alright, so I think it's lowered. Fired it up. I'm not sure how much this holds for crop. Oh, we're doing... Oh, I forgot about... it has 2 discharges for the byproduct of the crop. So if I wanted to bale behind here, I suppose I could set up 2 workers on follow me, and that would do it. Or... Actually, I don't remember if I even got it active on the series. The balers that have the windrower on it would probably work. Yeah, something like this with the windrower on it. To take the 2 swaths into one, that would probably work. But this machine is rather expensive for a 15-meter wide header. Now, the other thing we could do with the quote-unquote tractor is put a seed drill on here, take the harvester section off and put a seeder on here. But that's pretty much all you'll be able to do with the tractor, honestly. So it's a pretty expensive tractor for doing two things. But I guess it does serve a purpose, and if that's what you want to do in your farm, that's fine as well. I wonder how Courseplay would handle something like this. It also doesn't really harvest at a faster speed either. So again, how much is that machine? $655,000 for the quote-unquote tractor part of it. $318,000 for the combining part. So you're talking $1 million without the header. So with the header, you're talking like $1.1 million if you want to buy it outright. This setup is that I have right here is 1.1 million. And then if you want to get the drill, that's another 180,000. And that's just the cart, if you will, like an air cart that holds the seed and fertilizer. You would have to then get one of these drills. And you're only talking a 13.5. I want to say only, but compared to other drills you can buy out there with a tractor, I don't know. I mean, it's a nice concept. It'll definitely, if you're looking to do something different, that's great. But financially, I can see a lot better options out there. But it is kind of interesting. But that's why I decided to use it here today, because we got the cash just to toss around. And it doesn't matter too much. It's got a sprayer and slurry as well. Yes, it does. I do remember that. But man, it just gets awfully expensive. But here's the thing, though. If you got like a lot of fields like I do here, well, big fields, and you want to get some harvesting done, you're going to need another setup. I think I'd just rather just have a regular old combine, personally, but well, the one thing I have not seen, or of course have not tried, is when I got to unload this thing. But it does kind of suck you can't put a modded header on there. Oh yeah, how does it look like in cab? Does seem a little weird being offset like that. But I'm sure after a while you get used to it. I will say the grain hopper is a nice capacity. I'm at 22,000 and we're just 70% full currently. So if I were to pipe out, where does the pipe go? On that side. Alright. Can't you use the wide angle baler instead and use it as a windrower? What's the wide angle baler? Going to get to the end of the row, it looks like. Holds 1050 bushels. Well, Farming Simulator doesn't measure in bushels. We measure by liters. So, I mean, that's one thing going for it, I suppose. It can hold a good amount. So, 32,000 maybe? Yep, 32,000. Where's my... I assume it's going to be my 1050. Yep, there it is. Nope, there's Sam. It's a baler, but goes in different setups. I can't say that I'm familiar with that mod. Am I going to be able to fit underneath this? Oh yeah, we got room. Ronnie, thanks again for becoming or continuing to be a channel member. Very much appreciated. You don't use the metric system here. Well, in the US, we don't use it that much either. But in Farm Sim, they measure by liters. Everything is done by liters. But as we saw, 34,000. Oh, sorry, 32,000. Now I can see where this would have benefits of getting if it harvested just at a little bit faster speed. So let's say if harvested at maybe 9 or 10 miles an hour. I mean, it is harvesting at 7, so that's a mile an hour faster than a harvester. Yeah, I won't be using this on Kingley, that's for sure. So this is a field of barley. I think I got another field ready for harvest. Does have a good turning radius. You can say that about it, though. But yeah, if you haven't used this and you've been looking for something or a different way to do things on your farm, well, there is this machine. So yeah, the capacity of the hopper is decent. I shouldn't say decent, it's pretty good. But I would like to be able to use the bigger headers on it. And it's kind of interesting. I wonder why it restricts it, because it's not like the header width would interfere with itself. Because there's nothing in the way of it on either side. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and put this into our silo. What's the other field? Is the other field of I can't remember what I planted now. It's been so long since we actually did planting. That's a field of oats. You use the Nexac pack all the time? Yeah, I don't think it's my style of farming that I would like to do. I mean, it's interesting to use it here today, but it's kind of like when I put down the straw pelletizer, I'm like, oh, it's interesting. But I know I probably won't use it again for what it does. But whoever takes over this farm is going to have a lot of machinery to use. All right, let me get back into that. We get started on the oat field. Put the time scale down to 0.5 because I think I don't know if I can harvest oats in August. This might be the last month for oats. Oats. No, I can harvest oats in August. Alright. And I assume these wheels would do crop destruction, right? I don't think they're narrow tires, are they? No, they do crop destruction. Be nice if you put down... Wait, the header was down. Oh, I still got barley in here. That would be why. Be nice if you unloaded it first. What was I thinking? Or what was I not thinking? It's not what I wanted to do. I want to enter vehicle. I also don't plan on selling everything here today either to see what the farm value is. It's not something I usually do on a farm. Sell everything to see what the actual money value is of everything. Alright, now do you want to harvest the oats? There we go. That usually helps. I am kind of interested to see how it handles the hill coming back up. So yeah, 1.1 million to buy this setup outright. I mean, it's not that much more expensive if you were to buy like the CR11 combine with a header. That would be like 900,000 for the combine and the 19 meter wide header. I mean, it's $200,000 less than this for a wider header. And I guess the other benefit would be, instead of having two swaths behind the harvester with the cheaper setup, you would just get the one. Alright, how do you handle the hill? Well, kind of like all the other harvesters. You don't like it. Hello, Jay. Hope you're having a good Saturday so far. 61-foot header is the biggest header you can use on her. Well, you know me, I'm always going to try to put the biggest header on a harvester as I can. As I did in Schambergo for that series, but this past week I solved that issue finally. Does look a little weird with the swaths in the field when I go by it now. Seeing two swaths that close to one another. And around we go. So now that I know the pipe comes out on the cab side. Yes, Uncle John, I finished, well, in tomorrow's episode of ATS, I do my last trip. So my personal goals are all done for the Halloween event. And I think when I checked last night, the community's at 1.2 million of the 1.5 million deliveries that need to be done. And we still got, what, like 3 weeks? Almost 4 weeks left of that event, so community goal is not a problem. So I'm just curious again, how much horsepower is this quote-unquote tractor? It's 1,100 horsepower. Doesn't seem like 1,100 horsepower in that thing. So the working speed is based off of the hopper on this and not the header? Because, well, that says 7 miles an hour as well. Does not seem like 1,100 horsepower in this thing. So this would be, I don't think I got another tractor or anything that's got 1,100 horsepower into it. I would have thought with 1100 horsepower do a little bit better on the hill. I mean, yes, it is a steep hill, but I think our combines with the bigger headers and less horsepower do just a little bit better than what this is doing. Sounds like Jay is still farming on the Alma, Missouri map. We all have our maps that we love. Yeah, I'm getting rather excited about the Highland DLC that comes out in a couple of weeks, or 10 days from now. I need to get caught up on the whole fishing thing. I really haven't watched any of the blogs or anything from Giants. Just haven't had the time to check up on it. I figure I'll just check up on it either before I start on the map, or maybe, knowing me, sometimes I'll just jump right into the game and figure it out as I go along. Auger up. I need to go empty out our 1050 and the crop chaser that's got the barley into it. We're not going to be fishing on the new map. Yeah, it's not going to be for everyone. Fishing is going to be kind of like forestry work. Either you can't, you really want to do it, or you have zero interest whatsoever. So 32,000 is what the hopper holds. So we are just about there, and there we have it. Well, when you that's a big drop, man. I'm pretty sure in real life that ladder probably extends. I would hope so anyways. Or maybe you do have to fold the cab back up to get out. I don't know. This field does need to be re-soil sampled. I mean, I don't have to worry about it because I don't plan on replanting today. Like I said, I don't even plan on harvesting all the fields. Alright, we'll dump this on in. Actually, I think what I'll do is we'll grab our other combine. Trying to see how this would work. If I hit hire worker, just a base game worker, I'm not sure how that would work because I'm already harvesting the field. And if I set up course play, that's going to do the entire field. You don't like the X9 very much, other than the price. What is it you don't like about it? Because, I mean, as we all know, John Deere's are overpriced. I mean, I like the way the combine looks and everything. It works just fine. But for the cost of it, again, what's the, let's see what the price difference is, the big combines here. I know the CR11's like $770, right? $740. $740 for the CR11 AF11. And the John Deere is also $740. But these will hold 20,000 liters for 775 horsepower, compared to the John Deere, which is 690, so about 80 horsepower less, and it holds about 4,000 liters less for the same price. Tracks are not wide enough. Are they the same width? They look wider than the case. Do I have other options on the case? No, just that. So that's the case. John Deere looks wider. What's the New Holland look like? What's the design? Oh, that's that design. I don't know. The John Deere looks like it might be wider. Unless, I mean, if you're just talking about the EU status, the EU track does not look as wide as the US track. The US track looks wider than the New Holland and the case combine. Hello, Brandon. Glad you could step away from Minecraft for a couple seconds and join us. But hope you've been well. And hello, TK Collins. Welcome. Hope you're having a good Saturday. Yeah, but as far as I can see, though, looks like the John Deere tracks are wider than the case in New Holland. At least the U.S. tracks are. When do we move to the new map? When the DLC comes out in about 10 days or so. So basically, if you're wondering, I probably will not be streaming Farm Sim next week. You'll have episodes of Shamburgo, but I probably will not be streaming Farm Sim until the Highland DLC comes out. Just don't have anything else really to do on New Hope, and the money's just coming in extremely fast, and I really don't have any other place to really spend it. I mean, I've been spending it rather foolishly here in the last 4 or 5 streams. This $1 million for a pelletizer, straw harvest hall, and a whole bunch of other stuff. What the heck did he, what did Uncle John say? I gotta go back and chat a little bit. What did he say that he had to prove? I don't know. I don't see anything that he would have said that you would have to prove. Ever thought about getting a face cam so you can watch you play? I don't think people are here to stare at my face to watch me harvest a field. You're not going to see anything that much entertaining there. If I was playing games that gave me a reaction, maybe a face cam would do something for us, but I don't think a face cam is something that we need for Farming Sim. I've been actually looking, like I try to do every Halloween. I was trying to find a scary game, but the problem with scary games is they're not going to scare me. I don't really get too scared in playing games or jump scared. Whoa, watch out for the crop. Yeah, jump scares and stuff like that don't bother me. All right, so while that one's doing that, we're going to jump back into the next act and we'll start harvesting with this again. What's my advice to find people to play with? Well, what you can do is there are a lot of open servers on the multiplayer side of things. So you can just jump on any public server and just start playing with people. Maybe you'll find a group of people that you get along with, and maybe you can start your own server. The clocks go back tonight in the UK. I think we still got like another couple weeks before we turn back the clocks here in the States. I think it's a couple more weeks. So we get this oat field harvested up, and we'll get to the month of August. Sounds like you've been in trouble with YouTube there, Uncle John. What the heck you been doing? Sounds like you're on YouTube's naughty list all of a sudden. I know Branding says he has to approve some of your messages. I'm surprised I don't see that popping up. Yeah, so this next act setup, I don't see myself using this in the future, but it's not as bad as the straw pellets or hay pellets. So, I mean, I possibly could use it in the future, but it's got to be on a farm that earns a lot of cash. What kind of lights does this thing have on it? Is there another set? Well, that's everything. I mean, it's got some good lights on it towards the front. They're so bright an airplane may try to land here. Just half full, so like I said, that's the one nice thing about it. It does hold 32,000 liters. But you would think with 1100 horsepower tractor, as I will call it, that it can't handle a bigger header. But I guess it would have to do with the harvester part of it. Maybe that can only process so much. If I put a bigger header on here, you'll not be able to handle that much. I think my crop chaser is probably almost full. And I don't think I'll get the rest of the field into this combine. One thing, once we do get to the new map, what's going to be... I mean, it always happens to me anyways. When I go from one map like this, where I got all the equipment that I need, and then start on a new map, realizing, oh, we don't have this, we don't have that. But it's always fun starting on a new map. Just a matter of, got to get to the, the realization that I don't have everything we're going to need from day... Well, maybe I will. We might end up just pouring a whole bunch of cash. That way we can get right into the fishing and the onions. Although the onions, all that stuff should be relatively cheap. Because that's all small equipment that we need for that. turn off the header, that does give me a little bit more horsepower to the wheels, not the header. For the amount of cereal crop I planted here this year, I would need one heck of a grain mill to make it all into flour. Don't think I'll get to the end of the row, or will I? Well, guess I will. All right, we'll bring this over here. That's a long drop out of that cab. Alright, John Deere should be empty, so I can finish up the harvest with this. Good afternoon, David. Hope you're having a good Saturday. Hope you've been well. And Crystal, welcome also. All right, this will conclude the oat harvest. And as for the straw, yeah, not too concerned about it. Well, let's get these combines emptied and put the oats away. Well, I got a little room in here, so we'll take what we can. Yeah, this 1050 with the dual wheels does a pretty good job with getting traction and hauling some pretty big loads. Pretty sure our pelletizer's got too many pallets. Yeah, looks like it's full of pallets again. I feel like this thing would tip over with 60,000 liters of grain. At that angle, you feel like it would be so top heavy, it would just start to really tip over. And this time I remember to go empty out the combine completely. Or else it'd be like, why won't it harvest the next crop? Yeah, I leased the Nexac just to give it a shot and give it a try. I didn't buy it. Everything on that Nexac is all leased. If I wanted to buy it brand new, that whole setup would be 1.1 million. And I just don't see it being worth that, but that's just my opinion. The nice benefit of that, though, the hopper on the harvester does hold 32,000 liters. So as for like base game Giants equipment, that is about the largest you're going to get. Obviously, there are mods out there that can hold a lot more, but as I said, for realistic purposes, that holds 32,000. All right. Yeah, I don't think I have any other fields to harvest this month. That's the wrong page. This is the page I need. So it looks like these two fields will be ready, and these will not be ready. So, oh yeah, my pelletizer as well. I'm just making a mess in here. Are we out? Oh, we're actually out of straw pellets, it appears. I mean, I got a whole trailer load there, but again, I'm not too concerned about it. Again, I'm not really sure I know what this weather system does. I don't see it benefiting the weather forecast at all. Because the forecast is still for every 2 hours like it was before. I know it says it's supposed to make it more accurate, so I never really paid that much attention to the weather forecast to see if it was accurate or not. So I don't really know what this does other than make some noises that you might hear at a nightclub in Germany or something. I don't know. Anywho. let's go ahead and go. We're going to go to bed. Fees are going to be kind of expensive. I don't know what the leasing fees for that next act is going to be overnight, but it's going to be rather expensive. Leasing cost, 11 grand. And yeah, no more space for eggs down to chickens. I will go move those just because I don't want that keep popping up over and over again. There we go. That's cleared out. Let's bring this over to our 2 fields. Are those 2 fields the same? Oh, they are. They're both wheat. So I can get a combine in one wheat field, and we'll grab another combine into the other wheat field. And I can use the same crop chaser to load the crop in. So the next act is kind of close to this field, and the John Deere is kind of close to the other one. We'll turn the lights off. I don't think we need the lights anymore. Well, we get one of the Franks to harvest one wheat field, and we'll be in the other one. Again, originally I did all this crop for the straw so we could do straw pellets. But as the way the pelletizer hull works, not the way I remember it working. So we're not really too concerned about all the straw we're getting. Let's see here. Number of headlands 2, 5% overlap. That looks 16 meters. Isn't that? Aren't those 19 too? They are 16 meter. Wait, did I not set up the, I don't think I set up the course. So I was questioning the working width. And there they go. What did I bring up in the pellet haul? Nothing really. It's just I got the belt. I got the belt feeding the hopper with straw pellets. So that's the only thing I did differently. We're just trying out some I was trying out different things in the last stream. So I think I spawned all those straw pellets in that trailer, and I was unloading the straw pellets onto the belt, and the belt is feeding it to the hopper. Rather than put the bales into that belt on this. So yeah, I was just trying to find a faster way to do the pellets, and couldn't really find a way to do the pellets any faster than what we were already doing. So a little bit of wheat harvesting. I say a little bit. And I couldn't find a way really for the pelletizer hull to... Doesn't make the work any faster. The only thing it really does for you is this puts the straw pellets on a pallet where you get a little bit more of income from selling the pellets. That's about it. You're going to have to sell a lot of straw pellets to get your money back on that haul. I mean, I will say this Nexac is interesting to use. And also riding in cab just... Actually, it's not bad because you can actually see the end of the header so you can line it up. So unlike in the John Deere, I wouldn't be able to see in cab probably either end of the header that well. This gets you right on the edge. But it's interesting, you can't put a bigger header on this thing. Really haven't looked around the cab too much. Display looks nice. Some of it is actually accurate. I guess I'm harvesting at 11.7 kilometers an hour. Be my guess. Just having a look around here. John Deere needs to be unloaded. Oh, it does have a passenger seat too. We'll keep Frank waiting in the John Deere because I'm kind of almost full. Guess you would have to be a little bit careful if you're maximizing your fields, watching out for trees and such. Because the cab does stick out further than the header. It's kind of relaxing just sitting there and watching the grain being pushed into the belt. Oh, wasn't paying attention. I was just sitting there being memorized by the wheat going on in. Yeah, that ladder needs to extend a little bit. Need to be an athletic person to get in there. Alright, I'm going to go empty out the John Deere so that worker can get back to work. I'm surprised I didn't get the big headers for these combines. Maybe at the time, money-wise, I went that way, or it could have been I just figured I didn't need those big enough header for what we were doing. I mean, it does fine what we're doing here, but you know me, I always what's the biggest header I can throw on this combine? Does leave a lot of straw swaths, though. I would definitely use the baler with the windrower on it. Pick up 2 swaths and a go. Kind of hard to tell how much grain is left in the harvester because we don't have that ability, I guess. But if I was in the harvester, I could see how much is in the grain trailer. Might as well go empty this out because obviously emptying both combines again is not going to all fit into here. Alrighty, grain is nice and safe into our silo. That magically separates the different grain types. Yeah, definitely will be different when I get on to Kingley in about 10 days or so. Going to try to run a small-ish farm. Nothing this size. But use a little bit of the smaller equipment. I'm not going to restrict myself to like 200 horsepower because I want to be able to use the JCB tractors that are part of the DLC. But we'll also try to use some of the Mercedes tractors that I haven't used any here, just because they're a little bit too small for the farm. May have to look on the mod hub and see if I can find a modded medium-sized combine. Because I think I've used every combine in the base game. So I may look on the mod hub for a medium-sized kind of combine for the farm. But yeah, we're going to try to focus on the onions at first. Just trying to figure out if I were to have this next act on a farm, what kind of a shed would be good for this setup, because the way it attaches and everything, you would kind of need like a wide shed with a couple of bays, because I mean, if you're going this route, you may as well get, I suppose, the drill along with it. And if you wanted to, a sprayer and also a slurry spreader if you got the means. Basically, you need either pigs or cows for that. Alright, let me hop over and we'll empty out the John Deere. My wicker did not pull over to the side. Probably didn't get far enough in, so I'll have to destroy some crop. You really think I was going to follow you alongside the crop? That's not going to happen. You're going to pull over to the side, though, aren't you? Come on, I only took 1,700 liters out of the combine. There you go. Now it's like, yep, we're full again. Surprised it went that far, honestly. Yeah, maybe I didn't go with the bigger header just because it was convenient to be able to unload and not have to be very precise getting alongside the header for it to work. All right, back into the next act. Was kind of a little surprising to myself that with all the wood productions that we got going, it didn't seem like we went through that. I mean, we're going through the trees at a good rate, but not as many as I thought we would. That's why we planted all those oak trees down there. We never got to the 4th row. 3 rows would have been just fine if I kept up on planting as I did. Never had to get to that 4th row. Even though we were putting trees into the sawmill, the carpentry to make furniture, and also trees into the paper mill, we never really went to the trees that much. Don't plan on doing any forestry on Kingley. As a matter of fact, for productions there, just going to be doing the fish production, and I'm either going to do cows / water buffalo or sheep. And when I do, if I happen to do cows or water buffalo, it's not going to be hundreds of them. It's just going to be like 30. But I haven't really had a good look at the map to know. I guess I got to wait until I get on the map myself and see how the farm looks. Of course, you know me, I may not even start on the starting farm. So I'll have to make up my mind the day that I get my hands on it. But we're going to hit the ground running on the onions and also the fishing part. Thing is, though, with onions, I'm guessing we would plant them in the spring and harvest them in the fall. And every time you start to save, you start in August. But I may set it up to where we start in March instead of August. All right, let's go unload that. And by the time I unload that, the John Deere is probably going to need to be unloaded. Water buffalo is good eating. I mean, I don't think I've had buffalo, but not water buffalo. And for those wondering, buffalo does not taste like cow. Row of shame. If you talk about that back there, it's probably more like Larry the Lazy is what I'm doing. Being lazy in the harvesting. Well, I'm not going to reach the combine before it gets to the end of that row. Just trying to haul around too much grain. How much is field 1? I have no idea where field 1 is, but we'll have a look, I guess. Since I'm going to wait for the John Deere, since it's almost full. Oh, field 1's right here, and it's 240,000. But it does have a good amount of forest in it, though. Let me activate flight mode. So you're going to have, I mean, here's a corner. So you got some trees here. So, yeah, a lot of that land, I would say, Ooh, I'm on the other side of the map. I found a glitch in the matrix. I found an opening in the map. Oh. I don't know where we went, but it went black. Uh, oh yeah, there's also the Highland cattle as well. So yeah, I'll probably end up having those on the farm. Kind of forgot about those. Now, didn't really empty out the combine, but it'll go for a little while. Shouldn't be driving over the swaths in real life. That'd be a pain. Compacting the straw like that. All right, another load of wheat. By the way, if you haven't been paying attention to the Shamburgo series, this has popped in my mind, but for the bug that I have where the crop disappears out of the combine or trailers, a while back we thought it might have been the Omatana silos causing it, but I've run into that problem now on the Shamburgo series, and I do not have those silos on that map. Yeah, the other day I was harvesting in the Claas Evian, and the crop was not showing up inside that combine. I just parked that there because I think the next act will need to be unloaded soon. Or no, I just unloaded it. I knew that. Looks like the machine rolled downhill a little bit there. So yeah, this machine is particular what header it uses because I could not use our headers on it. At least I couldn't get it to work. Even losing harvesting speed on this little bit of a hill For something that's got 1100 horsepower, I did not think even on a hill like that would be an issue. Alright, I think I'm done harvesting with this thing. But at least I got to give it a go and a try. Again, I'm not sure if I'll use it again. Whoa, oh, that's right, I'm in flight mode. I'm not sure if I will use it again, but as I said, I'm more likely to use the next act rather than the pelletizer haul. As I mentioned before, if I say, let's do some straw or hay pellets in the pelletizing haul, I want you guys to yell at me to not do so. Oh wait, better come in from the other side because you're actually gonna, once you start unloading, you're gonna start driving forward. But you will stop at the end of the row, at least you should. Alright, put that over there. I guess I'll return that stuff. Although I don't expect... I'll probably be deleting this save file. Probably tomorrow or something, so... But I'll return it just in case I happen to come back on here. You won't see us saying no and go ahead and buy it because of the delay. Well, it's not like I'm going to make a decision in the future to do the pelletizer haul. It's only like about a 30-second delay. So I'll be talking about putting down the pelletizer haul. I'm just not going to, in a matter of 30 seconds, saying, all right, I'm going to do straw pellets. Let's put down a pelletizer haul and put it down within 30 seconds. If I do it that quick, I really deserve to suffer the pain of doing straw pellets again. Let me jump into this cab here. Dismiss the worker. And we'll finish up this field here. And I think when I finish up this field here, we'll probably just wrap it up because, as I said, today was basically just coming on here just to say goodbye to New Hope, and I did want to try the next act harvester. That can do more than harvesting. It can plant, it can do fertilizer, but you gotta buy all the different implements for it, and it's rather expensive. I mean, it does serve its purpose, but yeah, it does seem rather expensive for what I would like to pay for. So yeah, so next time you see me live streaming Farming Simulator, we should be on the Matt Kingley on the Highland expansion. And as I just mentioned, we're going to get right into the onions, the fishing. So I'll probably borrow a whole bunch of money. When I say a whole bunch, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 mil. If I don't use all the money right away, then I'll pay it back towards the loan. But we'll see. We shall see how it goes. Do pellets on your farm, but I don't use the haul. Yeah, the haul, I just... For some reason, I had it in my mind, or remember, where you could bring loose straw in, and it would make the pellets inside the haul and package them, and it did it faster. That was the purpose of the haul. But now, maybe it did do that. Maybe they switched it this way because a lot of people maybe were not using the Krone Primos baler. And I don't know with the straw pellets if they have an agreement with Krone, a license agreement with Krone to use this stuff. And maybe Krone was not happy that they weren't, this wasn't getting used and everyone was just using the haul. But again, last time I did this kind of a setup, I think was in FS19. I thought I did in 22, but you guys are saying you don't remember me doing it in 22 at all. So that's probably what happened. I didn't do it in 22 and just went back to 19. But yeah, here on New Hope, it was all about, in the beginning at least, raising horses. And I thought it was going to be difficult. But like I said, the day I started the series, the mod came out for getting more value for the horses. I was selling them at 17,000. Base game max price is 5. So with a mod, I'm not sure exactly how high the price gets, but the price wasn't going up that much near the end. So I was selling them at 17,000. Hello, how are you? Edwin. But yeah, the horses ended up paying off pretty well. And of course, the production buildings to build our houses, which we ended up building only 4 of them. I always thought I was going to build at least 10. But it took a while to get the process going, especially with the cement production. And we got 4 houses complete in total with some mailboxes up here. We did deliver some mail, but not as much. So that's what we did here. Built some houses. I was just trying to find ways to waste money. That's what the horses were for. And of course, as you know, building houses like this require a lot of material. So I wasn't getting paid delivering this material up here. And that was being made, of course, down in the village with our sawmill and our cement production. Those two were building the houses. And all the productions over here were for other things like our post office. And then I actually had to build other production. Oh, yeah, we had to put down the carpentry for furniture. I had to put down this production, that production for the vegetable production, which was kind of interesting. But the vegetable production, once you get up and going, that is pretty much OP. Even on hard economy where we're making a lot of money. So, yeah, I mean, we did pretty well here. And, of course, we got our forest over there, oak trees, which I never got to the 4th row. So that was kind of interesting. Your thoughts, too, because bunkers inside of the hall and the crane. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. I thought we could put loose straw in them. I'm going back to 19 now, I think. Maybe that's the way I did it back in 19. So I did it with like a forge wagon, pick up the straw there, and then dump it into the hall and let the haulers do all the work. That way the Primos was in the field at 4 miles an hour at best sometimes. So what am I going to do while waiting for the Highland fishing mod? I mean, we're only talking about 10 days, so it's just 1 week really without live streaming Farm Sim. They just had the the fall Next Fest. So a lot of developers and publishers were showing off games that they're working on. So there's a good number of demos out there. Like I did a demo yesterday. There's a lot of demos out there I'm looking at, and a couple that I would not mind showing off. Because I don't know how many of you knew about Hillshade Farm. Even though the demo had some issues yesterday, if that game comes out in November, as Steam says it is, and it doesn't have a lot of the bugs in it, that game does show a lot of promise. Like Ranch, someone did say it's similar to Ranch Simulator in some ways, which I could see that. Been a while since I did Ranch Simulator, so I don't want to say myself that it resembles it, but if a couple people said it did, probably does. But maybe I'll showcase a couple of the demo games. I've also got, I haven't checked my emails pretty much all week. Well, I've checked them, but haven't checked them enough. I got a few keys to some games, and maybe they'll be interesting, so who knows. Plus, I may be streaming ATS again next week because I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and a lot of people wanted to see me drive from the Pacific Northwest back down to the southeast of the states again, and that's where I end up in tomorrow's episode, up in the Pacific Northwest. So might be streaming ATS next week. So there's plenty of other games to stream, and by taking a little bit of a break from Farm Sim for a week, at least live streaming, at least when the Highland DLC comes out, yeah, we'll be good to go. Like I said, hopefully we'll have a good setup when that game, so the DLC does come out. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens there. So we'll have to give it a go. Sorry, just checking on some things on my other screen here. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for today on New Hope. Hopefully, guys enjoyed the series while we were here. And we did try a few things here at the end, but now I'm just getting to the point of, yeah, I think I'm really done here because I didn't want to do another season before the Highland DLC came out. So that is where we're going to wrap it up. Yeah, so I appreciate everyone being here for kind of a short stream for me, anyways, 2.5 hours. Just wrapping up here, and we got to try the Next Act Harvester as well. So kind of interesting to learn about that. But yeah, I'm going to jump out of here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Like I said, ATS video coming out tomorrow, but if you're a channel member, you already have access to it. And yeah, should be an episode of Shamburgo out Monday as well, which is probably about an hour from now. I'll be recording that episode. So I think I was harvesting there. I think we're in harvest season on Shamburgo. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to jump out of here. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and appreciate you being here like always. And I hopefully will catch you on Monday. But until then, have a good one.